Yeah. And the live stream is here.
Welcome everyone to another Meshery development meeting. This is the meeting on the 1st of April, and we'll begin with the usual um, time spending a bit on um, with the introductions. If you are someone who's attending this meeting for the first time, we usually spend a few minutes getting to know you. And kind of understanding your interests and what brought you to Meshery. So you might have attended one of the other meetings that we have throughout the week, but if it is the first time you are attending this dev meeting, uh, please take a moment to introduce yourselves over the mic or maybe on the chat, whatever you feel comfortable with. Familiar faces, I believe.
Hello.
And given that I don't attend this always, I might be seeing some of you for the first time, but it may not be your first time.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, I think most.
You're barely audible.
Okay. Hello. I'm audible now?
It's slightly better. I think you're
Okay.
gonna have to yell.
I guess so. Yeah, hi, I'm Shilagna. So this is my first time joining this meet. Glad to meet you all. So I have started getting interested in Meshery very recently, just last week, and I have almost 5 years of experience in JavaScript domain, where I have worked in both front end and back end. But now I want to learn something new in regarding CNCF and how containerization and all these things work. So that's why here I am also learning Go as a language, working on them, something new and challenging that I do most of the time. Apart from that, I'm also very much into open source and community related things. I have my own community named as React Kolkata, and I have been part in many national and international conferences of JavaScript like JS Nation and React India. So yes, here I would also love to contribute not only in the code base but also in community related things if there is any help needed. So I would love to contribute in there as well. So yeah, that's all about me. And I have also started contributing in the logo issue of Meshery during the loading. So yes, that is all about me. Thank you.
Thank you. That was good to know. Anyone else who's attending this for the first time, this particular series for the first time?
Yeah.
All right. In the interest,
Mr. Kerner,
Sorry.
Mr. Kerner, we gotta get you. We gotta break the ice, man. We gotta get you an issue today. We gotta get you to say hi today. Do you want to introduce yourself for a moment?
I'm Matthias. I'm a third year university student in Toronto, Canada. I've just recently joined the community and I'm looking to work on my first issue. I don't currently have any open source experience, but I've done a lot in school and personal projects, and my favorite language is Python.
Hey, Matthias, I'm not hearing any. Not hearing the regular, sort of you talk about things, or I'm not like getting the Canadian
Oh,
accent. Like what's
yeah, I think it's a bit more stereotyped, but where I'm from, everybody sounds kind of like me, similar to like US.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, I was hoping to be able to pick on that. I just wanted to. So
All right, not today.
yeah. How nice. So Matthias is with us, and Miss Gosh is with us, and who else? Who else hasn't gotten a chance to say hi?
I think the rest
Just
of them are familiar ones, I believe. All right, if you haven't had the opportunity, go ahead and introduce on chat if you feel shy. That's all right. In the interest of time, we will move forward. Take a moment and add your names to the dev meeting sheet, and you know we'll get started with the announcements. By the way, if you're attending this meeting for the first time, and also any meeting within Meshery for the first time, we are a CNCF sandbox project, the sixth highest velocity one, and we have I think we're at 10,000 stars now, right, Lee? I may be wrong, but yeah, I mean we are 10,000
yeah.
stars in GitHub, and
And who's counting
we
anyway?
look forward
Yeah.
uh, to your contributions and your involvement with Meshery. I'll start off with some announcements, and then we'll move on to the PRs and issues that are on the agenda for the day. KubeCon, Cloud Native Con passed by last week, and we participated in the Security Slam like last year at the KubeCon Europe, and we have been recognized for meeting a lot of the requirements that had been set as part of the Slam. You can say kind of tasks that you had to complete. So we've got an award for us coming all the way from Netherlands. I think Shiva will carry it along to India, and hopefully, I don't know, or he might send it to Lee or something. But that's the image of that. For the next announcement, I'll hand it over to Lee, and then we move on to the topics.
Oh, good, great. Yeah, I was just trying to send a message in Slack there or in chat, and so I got distracted. But good. So hey, I guess we've got an announcement today. That's right.
The rapport.
Well, yeah, I mean, we talk like, it's been years now. We talk every time we get on this meeting, we say, hey, drop your name into the meeting attendees list. It's good, recognition. It's good to be able to, it's one small way of participating in the project, just putting your name into the attendees list. Great. But one of the ways that we encourage people to do that is by having an end of year raffle. I often say it's for $1 million. But in this case, it's only for 25,000 US dollars. So we just had our raffle last night. And then today I figured we would announce that on this very special day of, what is today? Wait, but today is, it was the beginning of April. Was that April Fools? Just kidding. We are not giving away $25,000 for putting your name into the meeting. All right. Terrible joke. Terrible joke.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I kind of, had it coming.
Yeah. Well, next, you know what? Hey, next year about this time next year, and this day next year, we'll definitely give away. We'll double it. We'll give away 50,000. I think, April 1st next year, we'll do 50,000 for sure.
We had an interesting April Fool's thing doing the rounds here in India. It was a lockdown PDF sheet,
That's funny.
with usual government logos and all of that, and everybody frantically sharing it as usual with social media, and that's the April Fool that's going on in India at the moment.
That's funny. It's got a password. It's locked down. You said it's got a password, or supposedly has a
No,
password on it.
just a plain PDF, but looks very legitimate if you look at it that way. It appears as if it's coming from the government,
Yeah.
asking people to stay home and all of that because of the war.
Oh, I see. I got you. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else got an April Fool's that they got the wool pulled over their eyes by? All right, fair enough. Good. Okay, well, that was our $25,000. Good.
Okay,
Well,
moving on with the topics. Warning you first up with your update on the Golang port of evaluation.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I
Thank you.
can share my
Share your
screen.
screen. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let me take a look. Yeah. Can you see the screen? The PR issue, the issue. Yeah. So like currently the migration is basically have a prototype that can run on the ETV test. And we are currently meeting with Abid to discuss and uh, iterate the design and implementation twice a week. And here is the remaining work item after the meeting just before this one. And I will handle the E2E test and the remaining work item to make sure everything work right. And we estimated that we can do the final evaluation in next week and hopefully to merge that initial PR at that time and maybe work on more follow-up PR to optimize our engine. Yeah, and I will attach more benchmark and test result in the issue to make sure all things make sense to the reviewer. Yeah, yeah, and here is the update for the porting issue. Yeah.
nice. Hey, good. If anyone has feedback for Guanming, please, speak up. He's working on a critical component of Meshery. This component gives Meshery some special sauce, actually. So the work is quite critical. He's, Abid, Sophie, another maintainer. You were just mentioning you guys are meeting like twice a week, trying to just iterating. Look like a lot of checks in the boxes, which is good. Something that you might consider about the tests that are being run. Last time that you gave an update on this meeting, you'd walked everyone through a set of slides about the project and its purpose and its importance and your approach, and it was wonderful. One of the impressive things that you'd shown last time you gave an update was the performance difference, the dramatic shift or the decrease in the amount of time that it takes for Meshery server to evaluate a design as we shift, from Rego using open policy agent to Golang, or just using Guanming implementation or whatever, choosing not using open policy agent, but using Guanming policy agent. Yeah, the performance improvement is ridiculous. Or like it just proves part of the point of why it's meaningfully worth the effort. What I was trying to say is those impressive statistics and the ongoing tests that are being run, the unit tests or the end-to-end tests, you're actually, since you're meeting with Abid, he's an ideal individual to take and help with this piece of feedback, if I can offer it, which is, can you share your screen again and visit in your web browser? If you were to visit qa.meshery.io, this particular website with its dashboards it's a site that really all of us should be more familiar with. It's
QA
qa.meshery.io. Yeah.
Meshery.io. Okay.
The test results that you get, ideally, those are pushed here, just like in some workflow. That workflow can run, well, yeah. Anyway, catch up with Abid about where and when and how frequently and to run it. But pushing those results here would be ideal, an ideal way for you to be able to report on a consistent basis that, like, hey, those blue checked boxes that we were seeing, in a lot of respects, we could see those here, so to speak.
Okay,
So
that makes sense.
yeah, if you drill into any one of these for just a moment, I encourage all of you that are on the phone or watching our live stream to go explore this a little bit. There is, I think while different, while we are all represent many different cultures, it's a fairly universal thing that for whatever reason, red is naughty and green is nice, or green is good, red is bad. And so for most of us, if you're looking at that big fat red section, yes, you should either feel uncomfortable about it, like I do, or you should feel like that's an opportunity to go impact the project and help make sure that we're getting rid of the red. One thing that we're seeing on the upper right-hand corner here, where we've got these, it's called status dynamics. We really need to spend more time presenting these reports in this meeting so that we're all pretty comfortable with just like one or two of these reports, and that's it. But on the upper right-hand corner, I did want to point out that as we got toward our Meshery 1.0, which we just announced this last week, we were announcing 10,000 stars at Meshery 1.0. There have been very intentionally a lot of API breakage just before our 1.0 so that we could cement those APIs in place and have them be consistent and guaranteed for some long time to come. As part of doing that, our end-to-end tests, you can see, like, most recently in the last, actually the chart's a little confusing because it's got so many of the same day. Maybe this isn't the one to look at, but we've broken a number of those, so we're still recovering. But that was an intentional breakage. We got to get back to green though. Anyway, yeah, Guanming, if you would take that piece of feedback, see if you can't start to push your test results over here.
Okay, I will try to make more progress for this, and yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Nice, yeah. Good. Anybody else have comments or questions? Cool. Hey, hey, I think I've got the next topic, so I'm just gonna share real fast. Next topic up is, the fact that, so we made our 1.0 release. So we talked about that last week. And I think we might have even talked about, some particular coverage that we got from some journalists. Some of us know some journalists, and some of those journalists were kind enough to write up this story, which is awesome. I'm sure we've got a link to it somewhere. Anyway, following on the 1.0 release of Meshery Server, it had been time for us to get to a 1.0 release of Meshery's schemas, of Meshery's core library called Meshkit, and of Systent, Meshery's UX library. And so many of these other components outside of the core Meshery server and Meshery UI, they're arriving at 1.0 as well. I'll spend just a moment to say a couple of things. Not all of the work that went into, so Meshery as a project is schema driven. which is to say that a lot of the core constructs of the project, things like a Meshery design, how you might configure your infrastructure and describe how you want your infrastructure configured inside of a Meshery design. Well, this concept, this logical concept of a design, it is formally specified inside of an open API schema, an open API compatible schema. And so too are many of Meshery's other constructs. The logical constructs inside of Meshery are described formally in these schemas. The schemas are kept out here in the schemas repo. So there was a lot of work put forth to make them very consistent and fully complete, very robust and fully complete. So it's extremely important that in order for Meshery to guarantee high quality and be a bug-free piece of code, that we have consistent schemas, a consistent foundation from which the rest of the software is built. It's not only important just for like Meshery server, like the core component, but for all of its other components, the Meshery UI, Meshery CLI, the 30 something, I don't know, 30 to 50 something extensions that Meshery has. All of those are Meshery components, and they all need to understand the same concepts in the same way. If any of those other components, like Meshery CLI, if it wants to import a design, well, what a design is, every single component needs to have the same exact understanding of what a design is, just for example. So it's extremely important that foundationally we are like very consistent, very robust. And so there'd been a pretty decent sized effort to not just as a one-time effort, make sure that these constructs, plus a bunch of others that aren't represented in this PR, that they're all consistent. It wasn't not just a one-time like manual effort. Rather, a lot of effort was put into something that I'll share now. A couple of the code generation that happens from those schemas. So the code generation that happens from the schemas and validation of the schemas themselves, whether or not they are fully complete. So I figured I'd show a couple of things and then we'd get on to the next topic. So I just have the schemas repo checked out here locally. And so I just have this schemas repo checked out here locally inside of the repository. Some of you are familiar with this really old utility called make. We use make here to help build a lot of the software here. For Meshery schemas, there are just a couple of new make targets or make commands, if you want to call them that. The nomenclature of make is like that. These are a make target. So if you want to audit all of the schemas to make sure that they are compliant with about 40 something rules that we've described, like the rules say you've got to use either camel casing or Pascal casing or kebab casing, or like just a variety of different rules about how it is that these schemas are written. There's different ways of auditing them and validating them. And so, yeah, so it's going to be super boring when I do this. It's going to run a validation and say, oh, we're all good. Okay, fine. And that's good because we should be. But as changes are made to them and as these are revised, there's these new make targets. There's one, the only one that I really wanted to share with you all, and that is that maybe Pragalva and Ranak and others might make use of immediately. There's one here called schemas. try to make this a bit. Schemas, versions, latest. So as Meshery has been a project for a while, we brought out different concepts. There's Meshery designs, I just mentioned. There's Meshery models. Models are pretty awesome. Each of these concepts have evolved over time. So just like Meshery as a piece of software gets a new version, we just released the version 1.0, but we have had many versions before then. In the same fashion, each of these underlying logical concepts, a user can have a role, and how you describe a role that has evolved and matured over time. So we version these individual concepts. What a model has evolved over time. So most of the concepts, this isn't all of Meshery's concepts. These are just the ones that are described in the schemas repo at the moment. We're missing a few, which is terrible. You can run this command to figure out what the latest versions of each of these schemas are. That's been a little bit of a pain because, so for the concept of the catalog, it's been around for a few versions. When you go look at the repository, if you visit on github.com, Meshery/schemas, you can browse through and look at these schemas, and you'll see a number of versions of each one of them. It's been a little tough to figure out what the latest one is. So here's just a quick command to help figure that out. Cool. That's it. That was much longer than I wanted it to be. Do people have comments and questions? Yeah, good. So hopefully, Pragalva, maybe you'll touch on some of this later, or it'll help with some of the work that you and Ranak are doing. But suffice to say, as we move on to the next topic, it's time for these schemas to be incorporated into Meshkit, which they are, so that there's some open PRs and incorporated into Meshery Server and Meshery UI. These pull requests will land today. In the same way, Meshery Cloud will also be upgraded. So some significant updates for the project. I mean, so just some level setting of the way that those internal concepts are treated. It's only after this that for some of the outstanding bugs that Meshery has, it only makes sense to have fixed those bugs really after there'd been a level setting, after all components are referring to the same internal constructs in the same way. Otherwise, we just keep churning, patching a bug here and playing whack-a-mole. That's it for me. I think next up is Ranak.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. So me and Pragalva, we are working towards cleaning up the Meshery and the Layer 5 REST API documentation. So to set more context, that's in continuation of the topic what we are talking around schemas. So since Meshery server has a number of API endpoints and the REST API documentation in Meshery docs is being updated via Swagger. And so the effort is around moving out of Swagger and publishing the REST API documentation using the open API specification that gets updated from the Meshery schemas on a recurring basis in Meshery docs. So this is what I was able to achieve around the Meshery REST API documentation. So the API endpoints are grouped based on some categories, and they are using a single source of truth that has the both open API specification for Meshery Cloud and Meshery Server. And for example, if I go to any of them, we can try this endpoint, and it has some request parameters or a request body, and here's what a response section looks like. This is responsive, and it also we can also search any of the API endpoints over here. And if we update the source, that is the open API.yaml file, so the REST API documentation will also get dynamically updated. This is about the Meshery server API endpoints, and moving on to the Meshery Cloud REST API. So it currently lives in cloud.layer5.io system API docs, and it's using Redocly under the hood to build this nice page over here. But the effort over here is to move out of this cloud docs and to publish the APIs under docs.layer5.io. So here's what I was able to achieve: a similar styling where we have some API endpoints grouped under categories and subcategories. For example, it has a category named as key and some of the subcategories over here. And this similar styling for Meshery docs. This is also gets updated dynamically as we are following the same source of truth for both of them. Uh, yeah.
Cool.
Any questions or
So,
feedbacks?
Ranak, are you still iterating on the presentation of Meshery Docs REST API?
I have completed the iteration and it's final from my side.
Okay, yeah. Revisit the feedback that I've given you previously, if you would.
Okay.
Cool. Who's next?
Okay, Pragalva, if you're here, I think you've got a couple of PRs. One related to the API documentation, I believe, and then another one around the API endpoint audit script.
Yeah, thanks, Sangram. So these are the quick updates. These are already the merged PRs. So as we are moving out from having the API docs in cloud.layer5.io to moving it into docs.layer5.io. So there were some existing workflows which were manually and not manually, which were triggered on releases to create and update the generation of docs. So in this PR, I have just done some cleanup regarding that, and there should be another one as well. Yep. So as we are moving into the layer 5 IO docs to publish the same Open API spec, I have made some changes in this workflow so that the same Open API docs are getting published in the new repo as well, so that Ronak can easily reference that, and the API documentation are actually valid and updated.
Good. What else
Regarding
you got?
CI, I think.
Yeah, it's fine.
Regarding
Yeah.
CI, I only have these two updates, and other other changes are made in the bulk PRs that Ronak has made regarding the cleanup, which he will present next.
Yeah. So this is around the cleanup made in Meshery Cloud repo for the REST APIs. So we are just removing the page that we have for the REST API documentation and doing some changes around it. But I have a question that I would like to ask related to it. So since we have another schema.yaml defined in this Meshery Cloud repo that is being
Just leave it alone.
referenced.
Just leave it alone for now.
Okay. Okay.
Just work on the docs. Just use the source, the same source you guys are using. That's it. Leave the rest alone.
Thank you.
So your PR should only have like 1 or 2 file changes.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
Cool. Pragalva, do you have a Python script or something else that you were working on? What else?
Yes, yes.
How are you helping
Okay.
ensure that the API endpoints are consistent across the components?
Mhm.
So for all of you that are trying to follow along, we're talking about these logical concepts that Meshery has. I keep going back to the design as an example. So Pragalva, go ahead and share. Each component, each Meshery component, as it goes to like represent the same logical construct, like a design, as they go to understand what a design is and interact with the design, they all source from the same definition. That definition is just codified inside of an open API schema. It's just a formal doc. It's just a JSON file. But as various components expose APIs to interacting with something like a design, if you want to import a design, Meshery CTL will let you import a design. Meshery Server will also let you import a design. Meshery Cloud will also let you import a design. The Meshery catalog on meshery.io, it will let you import a design. It'll represent a design. They all need to understand what a design is and its characteristics. Some of them expose APIs. All of them that I just mentioned, they all expose APIs. Those APIs have different endpoints, different paths that you can interface with. So beyond just describing in a consistent way the characteristics of what a construct is, you also need a uniformity with how it is with the REST API definitions. Those endpoint paths ideally would all be the same between each of the components. So that's just context for what Pragalva is saying.
Yep. So we have been working on this spreadsheet for a long time, about 2 weeks now, and I have created a PR that is actually updating this spreadsheet. So if you will just go to my branch, then this can be accessed right now. So I have also made some make targets for this script to run that are make API. Make API audit. So this is like a dry run of the script so that nothing is, changed in the spreadsheet. Maybe you are working locally and making some changes and don't want the script to write anything. So this is the dry run of the script, and here is the summary. That are 183 routes have been audited. This comes from the router.go in Meshery server. So currently this script is only working for Meshery server endpoints. So this is the basic summary, and I also tried to add some summary like what needs attention right now, like 145 routes have no open API spec definitions, and also there's another make target for make API update. So this is the one for updating the spreadsheet that is present. So we would need the Google Auth for this. I have that for myself, but people might not have this. So currently the sheet is up to date. So there are no changes. Otherwise, what are the changes? It would come up here. So talking about the spreadsheet, I have tried to make the notes section more actionable. And the main thing to I have or take away from this spreadsheet is the schema completeness. So what does schema completeness actually mean? Means if there exists a schema for a route, then are all the fields that are all the fields present, or so that we can know what we should work on. And there are other columns as well, such as coverage. Is it schema? Is the schema underlap or is the server underlap? Or is it overlap, meaning that both of the schema and the routes are matching? And there are other fields as well for us to check. Yeah. And also, there is a change log, but I will still work on this is to add, a Google script inside this sheet so that every time a change is made, then the columns which are changed in a different color so that it will be easy for us to track what changed in our updates. I have not implemented that yet, but that will be implemented soon.
Cool. Guanming or Jay or Ranak or Yash, do you guys have any thoughts or questions about this stuff? I find that how is this useful?
It's like
No,
sanity check or
wait.
okay.
That's a question for the other guys so that they can actually
Okay.
understand. Because they're
Okay.
sitting here and their time is going to waste if they don't understand it. And then they'll feel like this is boring. They won't be able to help. They won't be able to engage. So if one of them is brave enough to answer, then great. Everybody else will learn too.
Yeah.
It
Hello.
will help. Okay.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Ronald. We had to audit all those endpoints manually in both the Meshery and schemas repository to create a spreadsheet, to be honest. And it took a lot of time to us to work on it. But with the script, when Pragalwat developed the script, so we had a talk about the script also, and it will help to determine which endpoints are schema backed or which are schema driven. What are the drawbacks, or what you can say, what are the differences we have regarding to implementation of endpoints and Meshery repository totally as a schema driven. So this is going to be helpful to audit those things. And since a lot of work is going on in Meshery schemas, so with all the updates, it will help to track the efforts that has been made into adding the making the Meshery it uh, um, to identify if that endpoint, which endpoints have been added in the Meshery, and they are now schema backed or schema driven totally in the Meshery repository. So yeah, this will help us a lot. Like has been developed from Pragalva.
Yep, that is also true. Does anyone have any other things to add, Ronak, or any questions from other guys?
Yeah, I agree with that. It will help us to identify the current gap between the API endpoints to be schema driven in either of the two repos. So, and it will help us to be synced with the um, between the API endpoints that are codified in both the repos. So, yeah.
And since Prakalva has been worked on notes also, so we are having some other notes to identify like what are the problems are there, and what are the things that should have to be worked on. So it will help in this case also.
Jay, any thoughts?
Yeah, hopefully I'm audible. I don't have questions. I just like one thing that I'll probably have for like again just speaking out loud for my thoughts. I'll probably have to go through the server code base ones to see this. Then I'll probably have questions, but nothing at the moment.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, the guys, Yash and Rogova and Ranak, they barely understand what they're doing. And I don't think that, and that's not an insult, that's like the truth. They can hardly articulate why it is that how this is useful. And so the reason I'm saying that is because like there's no ego or pride here. You guys are missing out on your opportunity if you're not asking those questions. You're not just saying, I have no idea. I don't know. And you guys should say it every single time. schema is a big old long word, even though it's only 5 letters long. It's super scary. And it's the dumbest, simplest, silliest thing, but it still is scary every single time you say it. And it's not. Anyway, I can't encourage you guys enough. There's no other community that I know that's like this. It spends as much time trying to bring everybody else along as we do. I encourage you to take advantage of it. Be selfish. Husseina, do you got any comments on this? Any questions about what's going on? Why is this useful? And in fact, it's color coded incorrectly here on the academies. It's like those academy endpoints, they're not read for being without. They are schema complete, by the way. And they, irrespective of that, it shouldn't matter in context of Meshery server, if that's the only one that you're evaluating at the moment.
And that is the reason why it is marked as any, because it does not matter for Meshery.
Oh,
So-
nice. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Husseina, are you gonna take that opportunity? Oh, there she is.
I think you should also take it up to update the docs somewhere, about this, and also maybe a few liners about how this will be useful, because I'm pretty sure this would come up often in terms of its usability and all of that. This uses PyYAML, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're close to the timeline, so Yash, you're next, and then sort of be ready for what you have. You'll go after Yash. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So in efforts to migrate MUI data tables from Babel to SWC, I have completed the PR and it has been approved by Rajesh. Actually, about this, we wanted to move MUI data tables from Babel to SWC, and this is the effort made to do that. Babel register.js and .babel rc files for the Babel configurations have been removed and replaced by .swcrc to handle SWC transforms. So it has been worked really well. If you can see my terminal, can you see my terminal?
Nope.
Oh, just give a minute. Okay. So yeah, I'm currently on just me. So I'm on my branch, SWC migration branch, and if I'm building this emulator tables here, so it completes in 1.1 seconds. But if I am doing that on master, it will take a lot of time for that. I mean, like problem of difference of a second or two. So my motive of this agenda is I need help with testing this migration with the Meshery UI, since I don't know if it's, yeah, so it completes in 3 seconds. So there's a difference of a couple of seconds in the build time. And I need help to test this migration with the Meshery UI, since Meshery uses MUI data tables and some of the UI components. So since I'm unable to build Meshery server locally, and to be honest, the important problem is I can't build a Meshery version 1.0 on local. So I'm unable to test this migration with Meshery UI, and that's why I need your help. Actually, I have posted a guide on a Slack channel to how you can test it, and I have tagged a couple of volunteers for that. But yeah, I want other people's also to test this migration so we can move forward with it.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good, Yash. Got it. Got it.
Yes.
Anything else?
No, thanks. That's what I wanted to say.
Great. Rajesh and Saurabh, you guys don't have any feedback, huh?
Yeah, actually, I was tested with Assistant. Yeah, works well. I think we have to test with the Meshery UI. Actually, I was tested with the Meshery UI in V version 0.8. It works well, but yeah, needs to test with V1. Actually, there is some issues in local setup, I think.
Okay, Saurabh, you're next. I think you've got something related to movie data tables as well, right? So
Yeah, thanks. Can someone share screen behalf of me? I am joining meeting from my mobile.
Oh,
No,
sure, Saurabh.
let's move on to Jay's topic if we could.
yeah, okay.
So all right, let me share my screen. Um, so the Matthew and I had a debugging session with respect to EKS connection issue. We are still working on that, I would say. And few things that we noticed that hope my screen is visible. Just wanted to check and I'm audible. Yep. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. So there is this command exec command where we are invoking AWS commands and we are also using Azure commands, AZ. Uh, so one of the things that we discussed was to move them to respective SDKs. And there is also a Slack thread where Lee had chimed in. I can summarize probably what advantage this would give in terms of moving to SDK. One thing is we don't have to rely on a specific version of the binaries. In this case, AZ and AWS, which will in turn give more stability to Meshy CTL commands. The other thing is the other downside, which also was pointed out by Lee, was we'll have to maintain those configurations in code. So yes, there is definitely that downside to it, but I would like to know if anybody else has any feedback. There is also gcloud, which is running a script. I don't have the link yet, but I have looked into the code earlier. The gcloud commands are executed as a there is a script that is being executed, so there is that as well. So the goal here is to mostly move all of these to respective SDKs, so we don't end up doing these specific flags. And Matthew, if you are here, please keep me honest. One of the things that he suggested was currently the Meshy CTL connection command gives a user a prompt, like where probably I can show this. Um, yes. So you can see like it gives this command I can do. I don't remember the cluster probably. And yeah, it throws error because I don't have my credentials set up. It got expired. But instead of doing this, the one of the suggestions was to pass them directly alongside here so that it's more consistent across different environments. So yeah, so that's something that I wanted to get some feedback on, or like suggestions, like we should do it or we shouldn't do it.
It makes a ton of sense to me. If you so the negative ramification of not including those additional questions as flags, it
Mhm.
means that well, it means that you can't have a silent installer. Is one way. If I were to use like early 2000, like 1990s information technology consideration is like you manage a lot of systems, and instead of going over and installing a piece of software manually, you own the domain and you go over and you have a script that install software into users' computers. And in order for that to be possible, instead of clicking next on the Windows installer, you have a silent installer with an answers file that
Yeah.
you just programmatically.
I see.
I think
Yeah.
One
Also,
thing
yeah, sorry,
I
go on.
think, yeah, we do have different cloud providers and different parameters that they ask for, right? So then the syntax has to be changing with respect to the cloud provider we choose. So I think the command would not be uniform. So yeah, we have to consider that as well. So,
Yeah, no, that is definitely true. Like one way I see this can be done, again, this is depending on how UX friendly or UX not friendly it is perceived. I think one way that I have seen other commands do it is you just provide dash dash JSON file, dash dash
yeah,
JSON file,
config.
and you
Yeah,
and you just provide
yeah.
whatever parameters you are in, key value pairs, and you just pass it in JSON YAML. But again, this brings to the point where Lee was saying you have take the burden of maintaining that part yourself rather than which is based on user side where they have to like maintain their own AWS config. But yeah, so I don't know
Wouldn't
like what
moving to SDKs also require maintenance? I mean, SDKs, I mean, my experience is SDKs also change very often. They have
oh
the
yeah
same kind of
oh yeah
attack that command line has. Microsoft Azure, I've been working on it since 2013. I cannot tell you the number of times, something is broken because, Microsoft is known to break things or change things,
yeah
at a whim.
yeah
So
you
I
don't
think
have to tell
we'll have.
Microsoft. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree. Like even with the SDKs, there are like major version bumps. AWS SDK V2 was a big one. There is, but yeah, what I'll do is I'll probably just link the Slack thread in the meeting docs, so everyone can chime in there and probably give some time back. Okay, there is 1 minute, but still, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's also true. Yeah, authentication specifically for cloud vendors, it may yeah vary, but yeah.
What I've seen with some of the tools, even open source cloud native tools, is that they tend to pick up existing configuration files that are used by Azure or AWS or OCI. So let's say you've installed Azure
Yep.
CLI or AWS CLI already on the system, right? And there is a config file in your home directory somewhere. And that can be a default location, these configurations can be picked up from. Or obviously we use a flag to specify a
Pass
different
the config
location
file path.
for the
Yeah.
config file. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just link the thread in because there is a lot of good suggestions coming in.
Sure.
Yeah, that's all from my side.
Okay. If I guess we'll do Rajesh as well. His is the last one.
Yeah, thank you. So just a quick update. So currently in a Meshery we have a dashboard. So we have able to edit the dashboard as per our convenient. So the issue is that while we are editing, like expanding our shrinking the widget, so we have a when we are editing, we can able to navigate to the other items. So I think there is some other issues. So all the saved, all the edits can go to the unsaved condition. So what I have did is that while we are editing the things, so while like it will opens up the unsaved changes model to confirm that whether the changes can be saved or discard or any other thing before going to the another work. Yeah.
unsaved changes about what? Make it more specific, please, to what people are working on.
Like unsaved changes, it means like we are
Yeah,
adding
no,
some
no,
more.
no. I'm not asking you to answer the question. I'm saying that if I were a user, I might be confused. You didn't say what it is. Like it only takes you a moment to actually type in dashboard changes or widget placement or whatever it is that they haven't saved. The layout hasn't saved. your dashboard layout changes have been made and it's not safe. You're just offering up a super generic message. I'm just encouraging you to put something more specific in there.
I mean, like in the model, I have to ask a more specific message, right? You are saying that.
Yes.
So,
So
like,
what we are saying here is it says unsafe changes. Changes to what? So you can just say unsafe changes to the dashboard customization or unsafe changes to the dashboard layout or something, right? So unsafe changes does not mean what are those changes.
okay, yeah, got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Be a bit more specific on what the unsaved changes mean here.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Got it. We'll change that.
All right. Okay. Yeah, study hall is on Friday for the certified Meshery contributor series. Make sure you join if you're looking to get certified. We're on time. Lee, if you have anything to add, if not,
Oh, yeah, great, wonderful, very nice to meet a couple of new faces as well. And I mean, between the April Fool's joke and then just,
yeah,
I mean,
that
I
was
don't know if
something.
some of you guys weren't here a couple of weeks ago, but Jay mouthed off to me, and I was like, and then I took his head, and I was like, and then that, so, and so he's got this neck brace on, and so I just wanted to. It wasn't because he was in a vehicular incident. It was okay. Anyway, another bad April Fool's joke. All right. Okay.
Anyone here who's CMC certified between last week's call and this week's call? Okay. So we thought we'll congratulate, but hopefully next week we have some certified folks among us. All right. Thank you for joining this week's call. See you on Slack, and we'll meet again next week. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi everyone.